Commander G1 stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, watching the stars through the large window. She had been in space for 6 years. Exploring new worlds for Earth today felt like any other day, until the communications officer called out, "Commander, we're getting a strange signal," said Lieutenant Minsu, his face pale. "It's not from any human ship." Giwan walked over to his station. The signal was weak and broken, coming from far away. It was not like any radio wave they had seen before. The sound was strange, like music mixed with math. "Can you make sense of it?" Giwan asked. I think someone is asking for help," Minsu said. His hands shook as he worked on his computer. "The signal is using basic math to make words. Someone taught themselves how to talk to us." The message played again. Even through the static, Giwan could hear the fear in it. Someone was in trouble, very far from Earth. Back on Earth, Captain Dong-Yoon received the same message at Earth Defense Command. He sat in his office, listening to the alien voice over and over. The math was simple, but the message was clear. "Help us, they kill us. Please help." Dong-Yoon had been a soldier for 20 years. He had seen war, death, and suffering. But this voice was different. It was not asking for weapons or money. It was asking for someone to care. He walked to Fleet Admiral Minho's office. The Admiral was reading reports, his gray hair showing his age and experience. "Sir, we need to talk about the alien message," Dong-Yoon said. Admiral Minho looked up. "I've heard it. The politicians want us to ignore it. They say it's not our problem. But, sir, someone is dying out there. And if we go help them, humans might die too," Minho replied. "That's what the politicians are worried about." Dong-Yoon sat down. "What do you think, sir?" Admiral Minho was quiet for a long time. He looked out his window at the Earth below. Cities full of people who had never seen war in space. People who were safe because soldiers like him made hard choices. "I think," he said slowly, "that if we don't help people who ask for help, we're not the humans I want to be." 3 days later, the alien message came again. This time, it was longer. Lieutenant Minsu had worked day and night to understand it better. The aliens called themselves the Villani. They were peaceful people who lived on a world called Valantha. They had never built weapons or fought wars. They made beautiful things from crystals and lived in harmony with their planet. But now, something called the Korath Empire was attacking them. The Korath were like bugs, but big and mean. They ate other living things and destroyed entire worlds. They had already killed millions of Villani and were going to kill the rest. The Villani had tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. They had tried to hide, but the Korath found them. Now they were sending messages into space, hoping someone would hear them and come help. Admiral Minho made his decision. He called together his best people. Admiral Soman, who was smart about planning battles. General Heinwu, who led ground troops. And Captain G1, who was the best ship commander in the fleet. "We're going to help them," he told them. "I know it's dangerous. I know we might not come back. But these people ask for help, and humans answer when someone calls." Admiral Soman looked at the star maps. "It will take 3 months to get there. We'll need at least 30 ships. The Korath might be stronger than us." General Hunwu added, "We don't know what their weapons can do." Captain Jawan spoke up. "Then we better bring our biggest guns." Over the next week, Earth's greatest warships prepared for the longest journey in human history. The UES Defiant, UES Thunder, and UES Iron Wolf led the group. Each ship carried hundreds of people and enough weapons to destroy a small moon. The crews said goodbye to their families. Many knew they might never see Earth again, but they also knew that somewhere in space, people were dying and crying for help. That was enough. Captain G1 stood on her bridge as the fleet left Earth's orbit. Behind them, the blue planet grew smaller. Ahead was the unknown darkness of space. 3 months to get there, she said to her crew. "Let's use that time to get ready for war." During the long journey, the humans studied everything they could about the Korath. The aliens had conquered 17 different worlds. They did not just kill people quickly. They liked to make them suffer first. They kept some aliens alive to use as food later. The more the humans learned, the angrier they became. These Koraths were not just enemies. They were bullies who hurt people who could not fight back. "I've seen enough," General Hunwu said during one of their meetings. When we get there, we show them what happens when they pick on someone who has friends. On the last day of their journey, they received a new message from the Vellani. It was weaker than before and filled with sadness. "Thank you for coming," the voice said. "We did not think anyone would hear us. Most of us are gone now, but some still live. Please hurry." Captain G1 looked at her crew, good people who had left everything behind to help strangers. "All ships, prepare for battle," she said into her radio. "Time to show these Korath what humans do to bullies." As their ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, they saw Velenth ahead of them. It was a beautiful world of blue oceans and crystal mountains, but dark ships surrounded it like a disease. The Korath were waiting. The human fleet spread out in battle formation as they approached Velenth. Captain Jawan counted the enemy ships on her screen. Over 200 Korath vessels surrounded the crystal world like hungry wolves. "My God!" whispered Lieutenant Mintz. "There are so many of them!" The Korath ships looked alive. They were dark and twisted, with parts that moved like muscles. Some had teeth like weapons along their sides. Others pulsed with a sick green light. "All ships, this is Admiral So," came the voice over the radio. "Remember the plan? Hit them hard and fast. Show them what human weapons can do." Before the humans could attack, a message came from the largest Korath ship. The voice was deep and full of hate. "New meat comes to feed the swarm," it said. "You will scream like the crystal singers. You will beg before we eat you." Captain G1 smiled coldly. "Send them our reply." The human ships opened fire first. Railguns shot metal slugs faster than bullets. Nuclear missiles streaked through space like angry stars. Plasma cannons lit up the darkness with blue fire. The Korath had never seen weapons like these. Other alien races used energy shields and laser beams, but humans had learned to throw things very, very hard. The first Korath ship exploded in a ball of green flame, then another and another. "Direct hit on their command ship," shouted the weapons officer. "Their bioarmor can't stop our rail." But the Korath ships began to heal themselves. The holes from human weapons closed up like wounds on skin. The aliens had built their ships to repair damage quickly. "They're fixing themselves," Minsu reported. "But it takes time. If we keep hitting them, they can't heal fast enough." Captain G1 nodded. "All weapons, continuous fire. Don't give them time to breathe." The space battle was loud and bright. Human ships moved in groups, covering each other as they attacked. The Korath tried to surround them, but the humans were ready. On the EU's Thunder, Captain Dongjin led his ship straight into the enemy formation. His railguns fired non-stop, tearing through Korath holes faster than they could heal. "This is for every innocent person you killed," he shouted as his ship's missiles found their targets. While the space battle raged above, General Heinwu led his troops to the planet's surface. The Korath had built huge prisons there, holding millions of Vellani captive. The crystal people were kept in cages, waiting to be eaten. The human dropships came down like meteors, protected by heavy armor. Korath ground forces rushed to meet them. The bug-like aliens were as big as tanks, with sharp claws and acid spit. But they had never fought humans before. Sergeant Taeyon kicked open his dropship door and saw the enemy charging toward them. His powered armor made him strong as 10 men. His rifle fired explosive rounds that could punch through steel. "Light them up," he yelled to his squad. The humans fought like nothing the Korath had ever seen. They did not run when the bug aliens roared. They did not panic when acid burned their armor. They just kept fighting, harder and meaner than any enemy the Korath had faced. Private Yunho used his rocket launcher to blow up 3 Korath at once. Corporal Ji-hoon threw grenades into their tunnels, collapsing their underground bases. The humans were everywhere, fighting with a fury that scared the aliens. "Why do they fight so hard?" one Korath leader asked another. "They are not even defending their own world." In the crystal forests of Velenth, General Heinwu met with a Vellani leader named Kathera. The crystal being was tall and beautiful, but filled with sadness. "Your people fight like warriors," Kathera said. "But why? Why do you die for strangers?" "Because you asked for help," Hunhua replied simply. "That's what humans do." Kithera's crystal body began to glow with emotion. "There is something you must know about the Korath. They were not always evil. They came from a world that was destroyed by something worse than them. What could be worse than this? Hunwoo asked, watching his soldiers fight the bug aliens. The void devourers, Kithara whispered. They eat entire star systems. The Korath ran from them, but running made them into monsters. Above them, the space battle continued. The humans were winning, but barely. For every Korath ship they destroyed, 2 more appeared from the dark side of the planet. Admiral Soman realized they were being led into a trap. The enemy had been holding back their main fleet, waiting for the humans to use up their ammunition. Ships, fall back to defensive positions, she ordered. Prepare for the real fight. The Korath commander Threxmer finally showed himself. His ship was 10 times bigger than any human vessel, covered in weapons and armor. Behind him came the true Korath fleet, over 500 ships. Did you think that was all of us? Threxmer laughed. Now you will learn fear mammals. Now you will know why entire worlds scream our name. But Captain G1 had one more trick to play. During the first battle, she had sent stealth ships around to the planet's moon. They had been setting up a surprise. This is Commander Wonho on the EU's shadow. Came a quiet voice. Gravity charges are in position, ready to spring the trap. G1 looked at the massive enemy fleet bearing down on them. Her ship was damaged. Her crew was tired, but they were not finished. Do it, she ordered. The charges exploded around Velen's moon, creating a gravity well that pulled at everything nearby. The Korath ships, not built for heavy gravity, began to struggle. Their bioarmor stopped healing. Their weapons lost power. Now, Admiral Soman shouted, all ships attack for Earth, for the innocent. The final battle began. Human ships, built tough and strong, rammed into Korath vessels. Captain G1 set her ship's reactor to overload and flew straight at Threxmer's flagship. Tell me, alien, she said as her ship began to glow with nuclear fire. Have you ever seen a human die? The explosion lit up the space around Velenth like a new sun. The explosion of Captain G1's ship lit up space like a dying star. When the light faded, Threxmer's flagship was gone. Pieces of burning metal drifted through the darkness. Admiral Soman watched from her bridge as the remaining Korath ships stopped fighting. Without their leader, the bug aliens seemed lost and confused. Some tried to run. Others just floated in space, doing nothing. Ma'am, we're getting surrender signals from the enemy fleet, reported Communications Officer Deho. They're asking us not to kill them. Soman looked at the damage reports on her screen. 30% of the human fleet was destroyed, or badly damaged. Good people like G1 were dead. The price of victory had been high. Admiral, what are your orders? Asked Captain Dongjin from the UES Thunder. Should we finish them off? Somin thought about it. The easy thing would be to destroy the remaining Korath ships. They were murderers who had killed millions of innocent people. No one would blame the humans for ending them. But that was not what G1 would have wanted. She had died to save the Volani, not to get revenge. All ships cease fire, Somin ordered. Surround the enemy vessels, but do not attack. We need to talk to them. On the planet's surface, General Hunwa was freeing the Volani prisoners. The crystal people were weak and scared, but alive. Thousands of them filled the Korath prison camps, waiting to be eaten. How many more are there? Wu asked Kithara as his soldiers opened another cage. Maybe 2 million on this world, the Volani leader replied. But there are other worlds too. The Korath keep prisoners on many planets. Sergeant Taeyon walked up to them, his armor still smoking from battle. Sir, we found something you need to see. He led them to a large building made of the same biomaterial as the Korath ships. Inside were thousands of creatures that looked different from the bug-like soldiers. These were smaller, with softer features. They looked afraid. Korath children, Kithara said softly. I have never seen them before. Yanwu stared at the young aliens. They were not monsters. They were just scared kids, hiding from the war their parents had started. Sir, what do we do with them? Taeyon asked. We protect them, Hunwoo said. They didn't choose this war. In space, Admiral Soman received a message from the new Korath leader. His name was Rextile, and he sounded very different from Threxmer. His voice was tired and sad. Humans, he said, we surrender. We know you will kill us now, We have killed many. We deserve death. Maybe you do, Soman replied. But death is easy. Living with what you've done is harder. She offered the Korath a choice. They could face trial for their crimes and work to fix the damage they had caused. Or they could be sent to an empty world where they could try to rebuild their lives without hurting anyone. Why? Rextol asked. Why do you not just destroy us? That is what we would do to you. Because we're not you, Soman said simply. Rextol was quiet for a long time. When he spoke again, his voice was different. We will accept your judgment. We will help free those we have imprisoned. We will try to ... be better. Over the next weeks, the Korath helped the humans find their hidden prison worlds. Planet after planet was freed, releasing millions of aliens from dozens of different species. Some had been prisoners for years. Others had been born in captivity and had never seen their home worlds. The galaxy watched in amazement as news of the battle spread. For the first time in centuries, someone had stood up to the Korath Empire and won. But more than that, the humans had shown mercy to their defeated enemies. Many alien species sent messages to Earth. Some wanted to join the human alliance. Others offered trade and friendship. All of them were impressed by what humanity had done. The Vellani were especially grateful. Kithara came to Admiral Soman with a gift, a crystal that could store and transmit energy across vast distances. It was technology that would advance human science by hundreds of years. This is too much, Soman said. We didn't help you for a reward. We know, Kithara replied. That is why we want to give it to you. You risked everything for strangers. Now we want to be your friends forever. Fleet Admiral Minho arrived from Earth with supply ships and reinforcements. He promoted Soman to Galactic Defense Coordinator and established humanity's first base outside the solar system on Valanth. The galaxy is bigger than we thought, he told her, and more dangerous. We need to be ready. General Hunwu took command of the new base. His soldiers trained with Vellani crystal technology and learned to work with alien allies. The who had chosen redemption helped build the base, working alongside their former enemies. But even as they celebrated victory, long-range sensors detected something troubling. Far beyond the edge of the galaxy, massive objects were moving through space. They were destroying entire star systems as they traveled. The Void Devourers, Rexstar whispered when he saw the sensor readings. They are real, and they are coming. Here, he and Wu studied the data. Whatever these things were, they made the Korath Empire look small. When they arrived, the galaxy would need all the help it could get. He called together representatives from every species they had freed. Humans, Vellani reformed Korath, and dozens of others. All different, but now united by their shared experience. Friends, he said to the gathered crowd, we have won one battle, but the war is not over. Something worse is coming. Something that will threaten all of us. He looked around the room at faces both familiar and alien. But I have seen what we can do when we work together. The Korath thought they were strong because they destroyed everything in their path. They were wrong. Strength is not about how much you can destroy, Hunwu continued. It's about what you're willing to protect. And together, we will protect this galaxy. The representatives cheered, some with voices, others with lights, and some with vibrations. All different sounds, but they meant the same thing. They were ready to fight for each other. As the meeting ended, Hyunwoo looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Captain G1's sacrifice had started something bigger than any of them had imagined. Humanity had answered one call for help, and now the entire galaxy was calling them friends. The Void Devourers were coming, but they would find a galaxy united, led by a species that had learned one simple truth. Sometimes the best way to save yourself is to save everyone else first.